read online, from different posters as well that I've seen talking about the legend. So if I can find where I found that information, I will include that down below also. And as you can all read in the title below, the first legend that we will start with, that we'll look into today, are Skinwalkers. So without further ado, let's just get right into it and get to ASMR. So I have my phone here to read off. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So to start, Navajo Skinwalkers, also known as the Witches of the Southwest. So in the Navajo culture, a Skinwalker is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. This witch is called, forgive my pronunciation, Yinalushi by the Navajo, which translates to, with it, he goes on all fours. It is considered the most dangerous of the Navajo witches. And in the Navajo culture, witchcraft is a part of their spirituality and has long since been a part of the culture. Witches are not considered supernatural and exist alongside humans. The Navajo believe there are places where the powers of both good and evil are present, and that those powers can be harnessed for either. Medicine men utilize these powers to heal and aid members of their communities, while those who practice Navajo witchcraft seek to direct these spiritual forces to cause harm or misfortune to others. This type of Navajo witchcraft is known as the witchery way, which uses human corpses in various ways, such as tools from the bones and concoctions that are used to curse, harm, or kill intended victims. The knowledge of these powers is passed down from the elders through the generations. Among various tribes that also have their own version of the Skinwalker, including the Pueblo people, the Apache, Hopi, and Ute, a number of descriptions have been told throughout the years about Skinwalkers. I'm curious to read into more about the Apache version. I have Apache in my ancestry. I believe my great or great-great-grandmother was full Apache. So I might look into that for another video as well. Okay, sometimes these witches evolved from living their lives as respected healers or spiritual guides to later choose to use their powers for evil. Though they can be either male or female, they are more often male. They walk freely among the tribe during the day and secretly transform under the cover of night. In order to become a Skinwalker, one must be initiated by a secret society that requires the evilest of deeds, taking the life of a close family member, most often a sibling. After this task has been completed, the individual then acquires supernatural powers, which gives them the ability to shapeshift into animals. Most often, they are seen in the form of coyotes, wolves, foxes, cougars, dogs, and bears, but can take the shape of any animal. They then wear the skins of the animals they transform into, hence the name Skinwalker. Sometimes they also wore animal skulls or antlers atop their heads, which brought them more power. They choose what animal they wanted to turn into, depending on the abilities needed for a and say things that they wouldn't otherwise. One way that you can tell if an animal is actually a skinwalker is by looking at their eyes. Instead of being the eyes of an animal, they have human-like eyes, and when lights are shown on them, their eyes turn bright red. Also, when they are in human form, their eyes look more like animal eyes. Skinwalkers have certain powers, including reading others' minds, controlling their thoughts and behavior, causing disease and illness, destroying property, and even death. It is said that skinwalkers are also able to control the creatures of the night, such as wolves and owls, and make them do its bidding. Some are able to call up the spirits of the dead and reanimate the corpses to attack their enemies. Its supernatural powers are uncanny, as they are said to run faster than a car and have the ability to jump high cliffs. They are extremely fast, agile, impossible to catch, and leave tracks that are larger than those of any animal. When they have been seen, they have been described as not quite human and not fully animal. Skinwalkers are notoriously hard to kill, and attempts are usually unsuccessful. Trying to kill one will often result in the witch seeking revenge. Successful killing generally requires the assistance of a powerful shaman who knows spells and rituals that can turn the skinwalker's evil back upon itself. Another alternative is to shoot the creature with bullets that have been dipped into white ash. However, this shot must hit the witch in the neck or the head. Traditionally, the Navajo will not speak with outsiders about these creatures for fear of retribution by the skinwalkers. For that matter, it is a taboo subject amongst the natives themselves. And in the 1990s, a ranch in northeast Utah, far away from the Navajo reservation, became the partial focus of the skinwalkers, called the Sherman Ranch, or the Skinwalker Ranch, or the UFO Ranch. This place has a history of UFOs, aliens, cattle mutilations, and crop circles. Located near the Ute Indian Reservation, these people have long thought that the Navajo put a curse on their tribe in retribution for many perceived transgressions, such as abducting Navajo people and selling them in New Mexico slave markets. And since then, the skinwalkers have plagued car alarm button, and the figure began to run circles around the car, and then stopped, then dashed off extremely quickly into the woods. I was obviously freaked out at this point, and I immediately felt very uneasy. But I told him it was just a bad dream and that he needs to go back to sleep. He and I tried for about 5 minutes, both stricken with fear at this point, when we hear our friend in the tent begin to yell, "No, no, don't take me." Side note, we had not awoken anyone else in the camp at this point. This freaked me and my buddy out quite a bit because we had no idea what was going on. We were also very vulnerable in our hammock by ourselves on the edge of our about 50-yard across camp. Our buddy's yells proceed to wake up most of the rest of the camp, and we find out that our friend in the car that my buddy said clicked the car alarm off was awake. So all of us, scared and awake, have a conversation about what is going on, and the buddy in the car says that he heard scratching on the window and heard something pull the door. He also said that he had seen the black figure running around the car as well. We were all freaked at this point and decided to move into the same tent. Our friend with the dream also claimed a similar murder story to the friend in the hammock. The next morning, we all talked, and so many of us experienced what happened that night, 6 in total, that we determined that it must have been some sort of being that was giving us nightmares. We called it a Wendigo, but we have no idea. Also, we had friends that stayed at the same site about 6 months earlier, and a few of them did notice weird things happening at camp at night, like feelings of being watched or feeling of a being walking around their tent. Strange stuff in the Idaho mountains. What does this sound like, and what do y'all think? Well, it sounds like something very scary, and I know they said Wendigo. That's another kind of creature that I want to look into as well. I think it's kind of similar. I'm not sure. I haven't researched it yet, so. But yeah, that's scary. That's why I don't go camping. Okay, on to the next one. This next story is by Personal Pomelo 8703, and it's titled, "I live in Utah. I'm pretty sure I had an encounter with a Skinwalker or Wendigo." I am 25 male. I live in Utah, and I'm curious if any of you have seen anything like this before. I'm pretty sure I saw a Wendigo or a Skinwalker. I know it sounds strange or crazy. I don't really believe in those things, and I'm regularly skeptical when it comes to the paranormal. This happened to me when I was 17 and in high school and living with my parents. My house at the time was in a very small town. The backyard faced open, empty fields and mountains for miles before you reached another civilization at all. My best friend lived next door and shared this field as our backyard in a way. I have to explain that his house was built on a different street that ended in the field with a small cul-de-sac. I think there were supposed to be more houses built down this street to expand the town, but they clearly never got around to it. So his driveway was basically in this cul-de-sac, even though no other houses were built there. This matters later in the story. I used to stay the night at my friend's house a lot in high school because I didn't have the best relationship with my parents. Every once in a while, we would wake up to hear dragging and a weird gargling sound from the back porch. His room was a basement room with a window well to the back porch. limbs and swung out of the driveway, turning them on towards the field to use the roundabout. The light illuminated this thing. It looked like a person, but it wasn't. It was naked on all fours, abnormally large, particularly its limbs that seemed to fold under itself in an unnatural way. Its pale skin clung to it like it had to be stretched onto it. But the part that still sends shivers down my spine is its face. Its jaw hung open to this gaping black maw, like a snake unhinging its jaw to eat. Its black eyes glistened in the light as it looked at us, but just as it turned to see us, it quickly scurried backwards, almost like it was on rewind into the brush of the field. My friend and I were pale as ghosts. We both looked at each other like, "Did you see that too?" We were shaken. Let's just say we tried to have a good rest of the night, but we couldn't believe what we saw. We ended up just sitting there in his basement with guns ready and waiting to hear the gargling and dragging again, but we never did. Sorry that it's not very climactic, but it's the truth. I now don't live in that town anymore. There are times when I visit there though. The empty field still feels like it's watching and waiting. Even though I can't see it, I can still feel like it's out there. Gross. That description of the mouth and the eyes. Terrifying. This next story is by Spare Invite 8191, and it's titled Skinwalker, Bobcat, or Something Else. I'm going to preface this by saying this is a long read, but it's worth it. My friend and I were chatting about this creepy experience we had, and I'm finally trying to get to the bottom of it. So I figured I'd turn to Reddit for some answers if there are any. People will probably think this is fake, but I don't care. Believe it or don't. I have no clue if this animal/creature is a skinwalker or just a very creepy animal. This took place around 2019, and I do live in Tennessee, right on the outskirts of the Appalachian Mountains. So here goes. Two of my friends and I were driving on a desolate back road at night. We were jamming to music and talking. Everything was normal. I was driving, my friend Hannah was in the passenger seat DJing, and our friend Chris was in the back seat behind me. Hannah was trying to pull up a song on YouTube that wasn't on Spotify, so it was silent for a bit while she was waiting on the website to load, but Chris and I were still talking. We came up on a small animal in the road, and I didn't think anything of it. Well, I expected the animal to move pretty quickly once it saw us coming down the road, but it didn't. As I got closer, I slowed down to let the animal have enough time to run off, but it still stayed very still. It almost looked frozen. The closer I got, I could make out that it looked like some kind of cat. The only thing was, what the heck was that? I immediately start freaking out, shouting, I don't know. Hannah looks up from her phone and says, panicked, What? What did you all see? She looked behind us and kept asking. We explained what happened, and she said, I didn't see anything behind us. Chris and I looked back, and sure enough, it was gone. We drove up the road to a church and turned around in the parking lot. We wanted to get back to Hannah's as soon as possible. When we got back, we rushed in and told her mom what we saw, but we didn't mention that it looked like a cat. We described it as a small animal. Her mother stops for a minute and says, Was it a cat? We were blown away. We told her that it was, and she said that her and a cousin came across the same exact thing when they were teens, only it was in a different area and they saw it peeking out of bushes. She still to this day doesn't know what it was, and she said that she thinks about it from time to time, even after 30 years. So I guess I want to know a few things. What was this thing? It didn't look like a bobcat, mountain lion, or fox. Is it a demon, skinwalker, wendigo, an unknown Appalachian creature? I've heard all of the legends regarding the woods at night. Don't look up in the trees, don't respond if your mother calls your name, etc. But everyone I've told either tells me it was probably a scared bobcat or that they've never heard of that before. So if anyone made it this far and has some answers, I would gladly appreciate them. No idea what it is. No answers for you, unfortunately, but a very scary story indeed. So we have 2 more stories left, and this next story is by Weed for Life, and it's called Encounter While Hunting. I have a story of a creature on my hunting land from when I was a kid. When I was about 10 years old, I was hunting with my grandfather, now deceased, on family-owned land near Covington, Michigan. It was near dusk, and we've been sitting for a couple hours now. We haven't seen much, just a spiker and a small doe, nothing large enough to shoot. We were starting to lose hope, and were getting ready to start the about 1 mile trek back to our cabin. As we were preparing to leave, we heard some twigs cracking from our right rear side. The stand we were in was tucked in the rear corner of a large clearing on one of the bigger trees in the tree line. As the cracks from the twigs got closer, I remember realizing that all other ambient noises stopped. When the creature finally emerged from the tree line, I remember my heart feeling like it stopped working, and an overwhelming feeling of dread washed over me. What I saw was what looked to be a small buck that looked like it hadn't eaten in weeks and was an extremely pale brown, almost gray, with what looked to be a broken neck and a missing antler, stumble into the clearing. At this time, the sun was just about to sink below the treetops and cover the clearing with shadows. I recall looking over at my grandfather and seeing a level of fear I have never seen on his face before. Mind you, my grandfather was tough and fearless as they come, being he'd seen active duty in Vietnam as infantry. After seeing my grandfather's face, it just made the feeling in my stomach become worse as we watched this deer stumble into the clearing. My grandfather reached for his binoculars. As he pulled them out, the lens cover made a small noise on the side of the stand. The creature must have heard it because it stopped its stumble. Now in the middle of the clearing, and creepily rotated around and rose up on its hind legs and stared directly at us for about a minute before running off in a creepily awkward sprint into the woods. At this time, it felt like sense of what we just witnessed. As we started to walk back, we heard extremely weird, almost human-sounding noises coming from the woods around us. By the time we got back to the cabin, my grandfather decided it'd be best to call our trip early and head back home. But before we left, I had to use the bathroom, and our cabin was quite old, so it didn't have indoor plumbing, just an old outhouse. As I sat down to use the toilet, the immense feeling of dread returned as I heard human-like whispers and small scratches on the back of the outhouse. I screamed at the top of my lungs to my grandfather as I ran out of the outhouse crying. After that, we drove back home and had a small discussion on what we saw. Despite being an avid hunter, that was my grandfather's last season of hunting, and about a year later, we sold the land. I've told this story a couple times to close friends and family, but I think most of them think I'm crazy, especially being the only witness now that my grandfather passed away. Still to this day, the encounter sends shivers down my spine every time I think about it. I would get shivers down my spine too. That's so creepy. Yikes. I'm just happy that you are okay and made it out alive, especially out of using the outhouse. That's so scary. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have one more story here, and it is by Midday Moon, and it's titled Weird Observation, Disturbance, Window Tapping, Lights. And it starts, I don't know if this belongs here, but I feel like it bears mentioning. I, 25 at the time, female, experienced what I can only imagine is an otherworldly occurrence when I first moved to the Sierra Nevadas about 4 years ago. I had been living in South Lake Tahoe for years and spent a decent amount of time outdoors hiking, camping, and just generally enjoying the beautiful place I was lucky enough to call home. Now, I don't scare easy. I'm used to being by myself, and I carry weapons with me everywhere I go. Being a 5'2" and 110-pound female, I go out of my way to be sure I can protect myself. There were many people in the outdoor community who told me to be careful on trails and in the forests. I usually do these things alone, save for my trustworthy, though somewhat cowardly dog, but I never felt as uncomfortable, confused, and downright afraid as I did in my own apartment one night when I finally relocated away from Tahoe to the city of Reno, Nevada. I had moved to Reno to get away from the isolation of living in Lake Tahoe, and though it is only about 60 miles away, it felt like a different world. Now, the city itself isn't huge, and I was living in the north end of town, which is surrounded by high desert foothills and is somewhat sparsely populated compared to the more urban city center, but I never felt as if I was out in the boonies or anything of the sort. I lived alone with my pup, and we liked our little apartment. So to set the scene here, it was early fall. The sun was beginning to set at a much earlier time of day, which was exemplified by the fact that the city sits in a valley, so sunset seems to approach much faster than in other places in northern Nevada. My apartment sat just above street level, with a window in the kitchen next to my stacked washer and dryer that looked out into an alley, maybe about 10 feet above the small street that went beside the small fourplex building. It was dark outside, and I was alone with my dog doing laundry. My apartment layout was an open concept. The living room / kitchen area was separated by a wall, which had a huge space cut out of it that you could see through to each room, with the washer and dryer tucked around one corner, and the aforementioned window to the left of that. the space, the darkness outside, and the amount of overall windows the apartment had. If it was dark outside and I had lights on, it looked like I was living in a fishbowl or a terrarium. Anyone or anything could see right in. I made it a point to always close my blinds because of this, save the small window looking out to the alley. I didn't mind keeping those blinds open because I liked the fresh air, and someone would essentially need a ladder to reach me had they been determined enough. As I was removing clothing from the dryer and turning to plop it onto my couch to begin folding, I realized my dog was acting incredibly strange. He didn't want to cross over the line from the living room to the kitchen, which was marked by a change from carpet to tile. Though it was only a few steps, he seemed incredibly hesitant and began whining and burping out small concerned whoops. At first, I just thought he was anxious for whatever reason. He is known to be a bit of a weenie, but then out of nowhere, I sensed this immense and insurmountable feeling of dread and displacement. I had my back turned to the washer and dryer, and to that small alley-facing window. My dog sat facing me, almost looking past me, and his clear anxiety and frustration began to build as I was asking him what was wrong. He began barking a full alarm bark at this point, and as soon as he did, the sense that someone or something was observing me took me over and caused my blood to run cold. My logical response was, someone must be watching me through that window, the only window that has open blinds, the only window anyone could possibly see me through. So in one fell swoop, I reached for the overhead drawstring for the light and turned it off and faced the window to confront whoever or whatever was intruding on my life. As soon as the light clicked off and the room was dark, I saw what I can only describe as a perfectly round light, about the size of a small cantaloupe, directly across from me on the other side of the window. It didn't glow like a lamp or light though. Its edges were perfect, and it did not hover, nor vibrate, nor move at all. At this point, I was too stunned to move, late for solicitors. No one had any reason to be at my door at that time, and I wasn't going to open that door. My dog had rushed to the kitchen as soon as light outside the window had disappeared, and he was in what I can only call full defense mode. Now, my dog is an absolute scaredy cat. I've seen him run from cats, get spooked by bags blowing in the street, and he generally stays right by my side on hikes and while we're camping for me to protect him. This pup seemed ready for war, hackles up, eyes alert, growling at the front window now. I stepped into the living room, grabbed my gun with one hand, keys with the other, and slinked back to the kitchen and out the back door to where my car was parked. I threw the dog in, started up, and raced off to a restaurant across town where I ordered to-go food and ate in the front seat of my Subaru. We car camped in a Walmart parking lot that night. I returned to the apartment the following day, my laundry still on the couch, no apparent signs of anyone trying to enter the place. Everything seemed normal. I never experienced any disruption in that place again for the year and a half I lived there afterwards. I have no idea to this day what I experienced, and it wasn't until I shared this story that I heard the knocking and sense of being observed was a somewhat common phenomenon that people relate to encounters with skinwalkers. I don't know what happened that night, but I'd mark myself incredibly lucky if I never had to experience something like that again. I would definitely mark you as incredibly lucky as well for never experiencing that ever again, and for getting out safely the first time. So that is all the stories that I have for you all today. I hope that you found those stories enjoyable, and relaxing. And I am looking forward to doing more of these, kind of the series in the future. And if y'all have any suggestions for themes or creatures or myths or anything that you want me, legends, anything that you want me to look into, that you want me to find stories on, please leave your suggestions down below. And also, if any of y'all have your own stories to share regarding anything, doesn't have to have a theme, just any creepy stories that you want to share, my email is also down below, so I would love to read those, and if I have your permission to read them out loud to everyone, then that would be great. Let me know. So thank you so much